Joining us now is Joe Morrissey, Senator Joe Morrissey of the Fight and Joe Show. Senator Joe Morrissey from Petersburg, Democrat. Joe, great to have you with us, man.
Good morning, John. It's an honor to be on your show. How are you doing?
Never better, Joe. So I got to tell you, Richmond is getting worse and worse every night. Riots, tear gassing. It's getting a lot of people now like me and my family. We're getting a little bit unnerved about what is going on. And, is it going to spread? I mean, there's chaos in the streets. What's the deal, Joe?
Well, John, you're echoing what many people have said. And here's how I see things. This, in Richmond, it got out of control, 3 Mondays ago when the police, Stoney's police, tear gassed the crowd at the monument, at Robert E. Lee Monument. And there developed this hostility that they have not been able to get in front of, not with firing, not by throwing, softballs to the crowd, not by saying we'll take down the monuments, not by firing the police chief. It's just every night, let's go out there, the crowd, and there is animosity between the police and them. Now, I was watching somebody yesterday and saw more gassing of the crowd, and I was just shocked. I mean, that is just it's not the way to get ahead of the curve. I thought that this new police chief would have done what the other one should have done, and that is met with the protesters. Hey, how can we work with you? How do we protect you? Not that they need protection. How can we help you march? What do you need to do, et cetera? And they haven't done that. I'm saddened. I think we're going to have more graffiti, more mischief, more chaos, and I think it's the end of the Stoney administration, as it should be.
Well, you called on him to resign the other day, but forget about resigning. When every night there's chaos in the streets, people getting gassed, there's monuments getting knocked down that are property, they're desecrated, Christopher Columbus thrown in the lake, everything getting graffitied, and people are now getting worried because, Richmond, you go downtown, Joe, it's a war zone. I mean, stores are boarded up, there's graffiti all over everything. You go to the Supreme Court building, that's disgusting. You go to the Pocahontas building where you work for 4 months, I mean, that's got stuff written all over it. That's boarded up. Where does this end, Joe?
I don't want to jinx things by saying this, but I'm worried that there's going to be one large-scale riot. Here's what I'm thinking. I've been talking to a professor at Virginia State University, and I've asked her to try to coordinate some type of meeting so I can meet with the leaders of this. I want to do it quietly. I want to do it behind the scenes, talk with them, see if there are some sensible heads who are leaders of this movement. And it's just the part that I have to do. And we'll see. What we can't tolerate, John, is continued destruction. That just is a non-starter. Can't do it, okay? I'm all for protests, but that means peaceful protests. And I've talked to a former police chief who believes, like I do, that you can get ahead of this if there can be some type of meeting with these protesters, because it's the same folks that keep coming out. So, I don't know. I think negotiation is going to be the end of it. It's going to be the.
Well, what do they? Every night, every morning we get up. There's like you say, destruction. There's rioting. There's looting. There's desecration. I mean, it's just destruction of property. It's unlawful. People are getting scared by it, Joe. This isn't an isolated incident now where there was one riot in one night and saw it gone away. Police don't know what to do. Some of them are standing down. One night they stand down, one night they throw tear gas at 1 a.m. I mean, I can't blame them for what they're doing, but people can't go out. We've talked to people on Monument Avenue. Children can't go out of their home to play. They're prisoners in their own home. They can't walk to work. This is a serious situation. So what is it that they want? I mean, the complete destruction of society and chaos? What do they want?
I think Kim Gray is much more is a city councilwoman in the second running for mayor. She is out there on the front lines. I think that's exactly what needs to happen. Kim, a couple of other responsible people, not the mayor, need to meet in the afternoon, not in the evening when the crowd is all there getting ginned up. Meet in the afternoon, and there's about half a dozen of these leaders, and sit down and say, what exactly is it that you want? What message do you want to convey? What is the form that you're looking for? Okay, and if I can, I mean, I've got a good rapport with a lot of different groups. I'm going to try to. Maybe you should,
Joe. Maybe you should lead it because certainly, Joe, certainly as a state senator in the area, maybe you should lead this because certainly LeVar Stoney has no ability to handle this, and people are getting nervous as they should because you don't know what the next step is. I mean, you don't know if they're gonna do a Seattle, whatever they call that thing, chop right in the middle of Richmond. No one knows. That's coming. They just want to operate their business and go back to work and go to the store and go get a beer and go play baseball and go play soccer, and they can't do any of this.
All right, let's. I've got a couple of thoughts. I don't want to say it right now on the air, but let's revisit this in a couple of days. Can I switch gears and talk about something else for a moment?
Yes, Joe. Yes.
I need to tell me what happened with that fiasco in Tulsa. How did, and I'm not being tongue-in-cheek, I'm being very serious, how apparently a group of people, it started, it mushroomed, and so that you had 1 million teenagers, kids, whatever, sign up for tickets pretending to be GOP supporters of the president and created an atmosphere where the president's campaign team literally thought 1 million folks were going to come, but they thought if it wasn't 1 million, there was going to be huge crowds. How did that happen that they didn't realize they were being gamed?
Incompetence, and it was a complete campaign incompetence, and nobody wants to say it because they're all part of the Trump surrogate cheerleading happy talk squad. I'm the only one saying it, and I'm going to keep saying it because, look, if you win ugly one game, the next game you play a good team, you get crushed. Been there coaching basketball. Doesn't work that way. You do an ugly radio show one day, you're going to get through the day. You keep doing it, you go out of business. Okay? So what happened there is they were incompetent in trying to figure out who these people were. They didn't have 1 million. There was a percentage of them that were creating chaos. They should have matched the phone numbers with those that were registered voters as Republicans. When they did that, finally, they found out they had about 300,000 or 400 to 500,000, which is still a good number. Then the other mistake they made is the campaign manager, where the buck stops, great guy, Brad Pascal, decided to tell everybody that 1 million people had signed up. So you start telling everybody 1 million people signed up, and what happens? People that were going to go didn't want to go because they're like, well, there's going to be 1 million. Who knows how many people are going to be there? I'll never get in the arena. I'm going to, sit outside for 2 days in a tent and not get in? So they stopped going. Then there was the protesters. That intimidated some people. Then there was the COVID-19. That scared some people away. Certainly isn't scaring away the protesters in Richmond every night. They don't care about COVID-19, but apparently some of the Trump supporters didn't want to catch it, so they stay home. The whole thing was a debacle. The expectations missed is amateur hour, hit the gong. You don't tell people you got 1 million people coming to get a little plug in the cycle, knowing that that's going to scare people off. Look, I'm not going to fly to Tulsa if there's 400,000 people and I can't get in, because the tickets are on a first come first served basis. So my thing is, look, it was a complete screw up. It was a debacle. You got to put it behind us, but they've never taken ownership of it. It's, oh, well, we had 5 million viewers on digital. Oh, Fox had the biggest audience ever. Oh, this, oh, that. There's no oh. You screwed it up. Take accountability, move on, but it masks a bigger problem. What else are they screwing up? I thought it was not Trump's best speech, not his best day. I want to move on from it. I'm ringing the bells because, Joe, right now, Trump's losing, right? So for my supporters out there, right now, here's the deal. We're getting our ass kicked, okay? So you can sit around and do your happy talk into oblivion. You got to change what's going on. I just had Bannon on. He said, we need action, action, action. That's what Trump needs. Now, you're not a Trump supporter. Obviously, it doesn't matter. But for those out there, action, action, action. Bannon says every day is November 3rd. And that's what we have to do, and that's got to be the consistent message. And the debacle of Tulsa is a warning signal that the campaign has some real issues.
Yeah, and here's the
Have
thing.
I summed it up, Joe? Have I summed it up for you?
You did. I'm going to ask you a couple more questions. And one of the things that I like is that you call it the way it is. That, Trump is taking a licking right now. He got his butt kicked. And he did. And I think this is going to surprise some people, what I'm about to say. I don't like any side in politics doing something that destroys or is destructive or is an obstruction to the other side getting their message across. For example, I think a lot of people looked at, and I think there were kids involved, but young people signing up, claiming to be Trump supporters, and it turns out that it was just
right.
Right.
500,000
kids saying, "Give me a ticket."
Right.
They were calling in for their dog and cat.
Right.
Well, the next time Biden has a group, I don't want to see his message distorted by other trickery.
Right.
Okay? It's not what I like to see.
Right.
I don't mind playing hardball with politics,
right,
throwing some elbows, but let the players throw some elbows. Let them get their message out and let the other side, critique it. That's what I don't like about what happened there. And I think there's a lot of Democrats that might be giggling, saying, oh, look what we did to destroy the Tulsa rally. Well, no, I'm not supporting Trump in the election, but at the same time, I don't like that type of games going on, because you know what will happen, John. Biden will have a rally and they'll do something to
yeah, we're going to do the same thing. I mean, it's tit for tat, and it's dumb, and it's just stupid. But look, they got caught. They got caught with it once. I'm sure it's not going to happen again. Joe, I know you're looking forward to getting a meeting together and trying to figure out what is going on in Richmond. But I got to tell you, the other day I had Kim Gray on my show. She's a councilwoman. She's running for mayor of Richmond. I'm a Trump supporter. Kim Gray is a Democrat. I don't know who she's for, who she was for in the primary. It doesn't matter to me, right? I own a business in Richmond. So I'm concerned about my business and my family and my friends in Richmond. So I'm supporting Kim Gray for mayor. I endorsed her. And actually, Ann and I gave her a check for her towards her campaign, which we never do. But we own a business there. And Farce, he's a disaster. And he's destroying the city. So, I want the right thing.
You're voting for of the two people, you're voting for who you think is better, or the four people. I get it. Go ahead.
Exactly, and I don't really care what Democrat or Republican. I'm voting for or supporting. I don't live there. I own a business there. I'm supporting a candidate running for mayor, right? And I endorsed her. And so, Blue Virginia the next day, and I called her on when I put her piece out. I called it Kim Gray, a transformational mayoral candidate, right? And I thought, and I said in the interview, this is the person who can really fix the city and turn it around, get kids graduating from school, doing all the right things. And Blue Virginia, which is the rag as it is, normally I laugh at it, but they ran a headline, and the headline was basically Trump supporter John Fredericks, Trump chairman 2016, advisor 2020, advisor is endorsing Kim Gray. Therefore, nobody should vote for Kim Gray. And I'm like, what a freaking moron Lowell is. Because don't you want a mayoral candidate in a city that is crumbling? Don't you want somebody that can bring all the disparate factions together and create a coalition of supporters on all sides of the aisle, all spectrums, to get our kids graduating from high school, to fix the potholes in our roads, to stop the rioting, to bring order back, to get businesses back? Aren't you looking for someone who can bring everything together? Why would you criticize that? What an idiot.
Yeah, okay. I'm aware of that, not because I saw the Blue Virginia pronouncement, but rather somebody told me about it. Here's what I didn't like about that. I get the fact that they would put a headline, Trump supporter, i.e. Fredericks endorsing Gray. I mean, it's newsy enough to disseminate that information.
Agreed.
But then to turn around and say, for that reason, don't vote for her, I thought was childish. Now, do I care that Lowell was going to go out and say something mean-spirited about Joe Morrissey? Hey, man, have at it. Who cares?
Right.
Okay, I thought he was wrong because it's like saying, here's another example, here's an analogy. In politics, the other side sometimes has a very good idea.
Right.
If you're a Democrat, I'm sitting in the Democratic style of the Senate chamber, and I see one of my Republican colleagues, say Bill Stanley, comes
Right.
up with an idea for funding schools throughout the Commonwealth,
Right.
his $3 billion proposal. Guess what? It is a good idea, and I endorse it. All right? Another Republican senator comes up with an idea for broadband expansion. Okay?
Right.
And I'm going to endorse because it's a good idea. If we get into the habit of saying, just because the other side comes up with an idea, a great one, we're going to poo-poo that idea, then we're in trouble, all right?
It's insane.
That's what Lowell did here.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Here's somebody that a Republican, endorsed one of the people in the gubernatorial and the mayoral race, and you articulated the reasons why. Because you have a business in the city, the city we need to take control of the situation. You think she'll reestablish law and order, she'll bring normalcy back to Richmond, whatever your reasons. And for him to say, okay, vote for the other guy just because a Republican supported Trump is childish. And I hope he's listening right now. I can't wait to see what he says about me.
It is. You know what? It's childish and it's stupid.
People reading it, you know that? It's the same people inside the circle.
It's the same 50 people reading it. The bigger thing with this is it's shameful because Richmond has a lot of problems right now. 30% of our high school students are dropping out. When LeVar Stoney, who was a disaster, took over, it was at 80%. He was going to be the education mayor. He doubled it. Kim Gray is a Democrat city council woman, owns a home there, and she has the opportunity. She's got a vision and a platform to turn the city around, which I go into every day. I own businesses there, and that's why I support her. And to be successful as a mayor, you need to bring everybody together. Everybody. That's how you're successful. Hey, Joe, I'm out of time. I got to roll. Joe, thanks for being with us. Joe Morrissey